Hello and welcome to EcuadorCentral.com's traveling video. For the most part, traveling tips and how to travel to and from Ecuador and within Ecuador. So to and from Ecuador, there's two international airports that you can travel into. The capital of the country is Quito, and it's about 2.5 million people that are in there. That's the best one for me. I like Quito a lot better than the second choice, which is Guayaquil. It's about 4.7 million people. And the reason I don't like that one as much is more crime, obviously, and it's the port city, so it's on the coast. And it's really hot there a lot of times. I'm not much for the heat. So, some people like that a lot, so it might be the place for you. But in any case, those are the two cities that you can fly into internationally. And then the third largest city in Ecuador, which is not an international city, but it does have an airport, is Cuenca, and Cuenca is where we're at. And so if you come into either Quito or Guayaquil and your destination is to see us, to come to Cuenca, then you will have to spend the night in one of those two cities, and then the next morning get up and fly to Cuenca. Now, if you were to get up and ride a bus or a van or some kind of private ride, you can do that. From Guayaquil, you're going to be about 4 hours from Cuenca. And Quito is about 10 hours, actually. 8 to 10 depending on who's driving, but a bus normally is about 10, supposed to be. And then the private ride, you might get away with 8 hours. But either way, it's a long distance, and it's only a 45-minute flight from Quito to Cuenca and about 35 minutes from Guayaquil to Cuenca. So that's it for flying to and from. Now, as far as once you're in Ecuador, there's lots of ways you can do it. You can go private van, you can go the regular tour buses or the regular buses, you can do a taxi, and you can do private cars. So obviously everybody knows what a taxi is. That's one way of doing it, but 10 hours from Quito would be kind of expensive, whereas the big bus you can do for about $15 from Quito to Cuenca, a 10-hour trip. So if you want to see the countryside, it might be good to do that. However, I don't recommend that you do the bus when you're first coming into the country. And I'll explain that in just a minute about the crime and that kind of thing and how to watch your stuff. The other option they have for traveling is inside Ecuador is they have these van services. It's about a 7-passenger van, and you can usually get those probably about 25 bucks from Quito and $15 from Guayaquil, so it's not bad. And then the other option is a private car. But actually the private car and the taxis are going to be more than just taking a flight. The flights currently are about $120 round trip per person from Quito to Cuenca, and from Guayaquil to Cuenca is about 90 bucks. So that's really a better option as far as the safety factors. Now, what that means is it really bad here? Is it very dangerous? Not necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of cities in the United States that are far more dangerous. However, not speaking the language, which is a lot of the people listening to this video won't be speaking really good Spanish. So not being able to hear what's going on around you is, one issue that could make you vulnerable. The second thing is that they're more apt to just grab your bag and run, where we're not used to that. So walking into a restaurant, throwing your purse or your handbag over a chair, we don't think anything of it. Here, you could be sitting there eating dinner, and after dinner, having never left a chair, stand up and find your bag's gone, because you're not aware that how slick and fast some of these people can be. So keeping a hold of your bags and everything is very, very important. If you leave something in the taxi, you lost it. It's just, they're not going to come back. And in fact, if you're 5 feet away from the taxi and realize it and start to flag him down, he's probably going to punch it. So it's just not very often that you're going to get them to come and give it to you, whatever it is you lost. So the general rule is, if you lost it, it's gone. So anyway, the crime is the worst in Guayaquil, second worst in Quito, and then probably Cuenca and other cities, because in the perspective of their size is where the crime goes up. Now we'll get a little bit more into the crime when you watch the video on the guns, gold, and silver. There's a little bit of information, but generally speaking, 2 years ago, July of '09, the president here took away the right to carry weapons, and anytime you take away the right to arm yourself, crime goes up because the criminals already know, hey, all the law-abiding citizens don't have guns because they're not allowed to, so they know they're the only ones with guns. That's the basics of that. It was supposed to come back a month later. It didn't figure it would because of the globalist governments. It's global. That's the whole point of the word, global government. So mostly they're in on it, or they're getting picked off if they're not in on it, like Chavez and some of these other people that you hear about in the news. So maybe they're not playing with the big boys, so they run them out of town. Any case, that about wraps it up for the traveling video for EcuadorCentral.com, and maybe we'll see you in Ecuador. Thank you.